Good afternoon, traders. This is Tony D from easyMarkets in the Sydney dealing room. Update for you on Monday here, the 7th of May. After an interesting Friday NFP, we had a sharp move higher in the US dollar after the NFP numbers came out. And there's a little bit of a chin scratcher in why exactly the US dollar got strong when it was, on the face of it, quite weakish numbers. Alright, so if we're talking about what is normally the case, is the most important number is the headline number, which was forecasted around about 190,000, and it ended up coming in at a little bit under expectations of 164,000. But lately, the most important number has been the average and hourly earnings, and it was forecast to come in at 0.2, and it came in at 0.1. So that's the wage inflation number, and it's missed expectations there. And so, give me those two numbers, and I would say, well, of course, the US dollar, after being strong for a couple of weeks, would be weaker after the announcement. Now, apart from a knee-jerk little spike higher, there was pretty heavy US dollar buying, with the euro and the pound both hitting new lows. And a lot of this is put down to the fact that the unemployment rate hit a new handle. It dropped down to 3.9%, first time since 2012, I believe, and that's maybe enough of a good feel to help the US dollar rally that day. A little bit odd though, and what's been a bit more normal is the bounce since the market hit those fresh lows, and then today in the Asian session, a steady climb. That sort of number didn't really lead to yields rising too much. The yields are well under 3% now on the 10-year. So the driving force of the US dollar rally seemed to be mostly momentum and positional, and then that selling again on Friday of the euro and the pound. If it's run out of steam, because we haven't had a short squeeze in a while, what would be most important now is to see what happens when we do have a short squeeze, and if that's what's happening right now with both the pound and, say, Aussie dollar and the euro both enjoying gains, and the dollar yen well away from 110 now, back underneath 109. Then it's most important to see what happens after a squeeze. If the US dollar strength comes back, we have to respect it and start looking for new lows on the euro and on the pound and the Aussie. If it stabilizes here and we get a bit more range trading, then perhaps the positional adjustment, because the market was heavy long euro, near record long euros, back now to normal levels of long euro, then it could be a little bit more of an even battle. But technically, those who are looking for US dollar strength are looking for the euro to stabilize around about the 117 to 118 level as the main levels there. That the bigger picture, and if you go back on the weekly, you can see that. You can see that the bigger supports are coming in closer to the 118. That's the level you might want to be looking about as a bigger base if this US dollar was to continue to rally. Alright, but yeah, just exactly what's driving this US dollar. Used to be yields, started it, now it's a little bit of momentum. If that goes away, then a bit more of an even battle might come back into the picture. Longer term, ECB still looking to raise rates. Bank of England will be interesting this week. We'll see how long we have to wait until we get a rate hike out of the Bank of England now that the numbers have become so poor in the last 2 weeks. Market expectations are there's only about 10% chance to raise this time, and Carney's pretty much signaled that they'll be patient if the data does come in weak, and it's definitely come in weak. So we are going to get a new revised expectations from the Bank of England after the meeting. It'll be interesting to see if anyone still votes for a rate hike. At the last meeting, there was a couple voting for a rate hike, so we'll see what the new numbers are. That's coming on Thursday, and that's the one of the biggest events. The other big event is the US CPI, which is a very important month-to-month piece of data now, perhaps rivaling the NFP in terms of the ability for it to move the market, and especially if it's US dollar being very strong going into that on Thursday. It's a big test for it. Alright guys, we'll have more update on the market tomorrow and how we're playing this week. So far in the Asian session though today, we are seeing a little bit of a US dollar sell-off, and we're just seeing if we can get past some of those levels from last week, and then we can get a little bit more of a squeeze happening, which could provide you with good opportunities. If you missed a lot of this rally, you'll be waiting for that to happen anyway to get the US dollar at the better levels.